one trade every Eastern Conference team needs to do. Like and subscribe for the Western Conference teams, and without further ado, let's get started. So with the first trade, I have the Philadelphia 76ers breaking up the Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid duo and sending Simmons, George Hill to the Timberwolves for D'Lo, Malik Beasley, and a 2027 first-round pick, top 10 protected. Now, this splits up the Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid duo, which we've been asking for years now because those two cannot coexist on the court together. In this package, Philly's getting back D'Lo and Malik Beasley, who are two 20-point-per-game scorers. They could shoot, they could pass, they could play off-ball, they could play on-ball, and it's just a much better fit beside Embiid. Yeah, they're losing out defensively, but having Embiid as your middleman, as your defensive anchor, you're still going to be an above-average defensive team, but you're going to be a much better offensive team, and I think in the playoffs, this trade will definitely help them out. Now, with the next trade, I have the Brooklyn Nets getting their defensive anchor in Miles Turner for Joe Harris and Nicholas Claxton. So, I think this is a good trade because having your big three in Harden, KD, and Kyrie, you're never going to get like the most effect out of Joe Harris. He's going to probably be shooting like less than 8 shots a game, and that's just not enough for a guy like Joe Harris to catch his rhythm. So it's better to sell off on Joe Harris and get a guy like Miles Turner who could hold down your defense, and that's clearly one of the biggest glaring holes for the Brooklyn Nets. Now with the third trade, I have the Bucks getting that fourth offensive weapon, a consistent shooter, Buddy Hield for Dante DiVincenzo, Pat Connaughton, and a second-round pick, which is a 31st pick, so practically a first-round pick. And this is just perfect for the Bucks because they definitely need more consistent offense, and Buddy Hield has been a 40% three-point shooter for consistent years now. And I just feel like if you have a guy like Buddy Hield, beside Drew Holiday, beside Middleton, beside Giannis, this guy could definitely bring a new dimension to the Bucks because they need pure shooters. Like Dante DiVincenzo, Pat Connaughton, and them are alright, but they're never gonna go off from three, you know? Buddy Hield has the potential to go off from three like multiple games in a row. So I like this fit for Bucks a lot. Now for the Knicks, I have them acquiring Kemba Walker for a very low price in Kevin Knox, 2 seconds and a first. The Knicks, if they do get Kemba Walker, I'm pretty sure all their cap space is going to be tied into him, and they won't be able to afford another free agent. But the thing is, the Knicks need to continue their winning culture. And when you look at the East right now, there's teams like Toronto, there's teams like Chicago, who could creep up on them and kick them out of the playoffs again. And in that case, you're not going to even be able to get a free agent because like they would just think this season was a fluke, right? So I think getting a guy like Kemba Walker who could create for himself, create for others, it's just a perfect fit. And not only can Kemba bring them back into the playoffs, he could probably help win a series. So in the next trade, I have the Hawks sign and trading John Collins, Kevin Huerter for Harrison Barnes, Marvin Bagley, and the 9th pick. And the Hawks owner recently came out saying they won't be able to bring back a lot of their young guys due to financial complications. And I think this was a direct indication that John Collins might be gone this offseason, because I believe John Collins will be getting anywhere from $25 million to a max contract. And the Kings are desperate to make the playoffs, so I think they would consider adding John Collins to their roster. Now for the Hawks side of things, you guys get Harrison Barnes, who's a good 3-and-D player, along with Marvin Bagley, who has tremendous upside still, and he could even become a John Collins type player. But what sweetens the deal is a 9th pick, which the Hawks could use to get a Davion Mitchell or a Jalen Johnson or some player of that caliber. Now for the next trade, I have the Heat acquiring Kyle Lowry for Andre Iguodala, Precious Achiuwa, and a 2025 first-round pick. So you're not really giving up any of your core players. Precious, he wasn't even in the rotation for the playoffs. You don't need to give up Tyler Hero. You don't need to give up Duncan Robinson. And you're getting an all-star level point guard in Kyle Lowry. And look at the Phoenix Suns. With a veteran point guard like Chris Paul, they've made it to the finals. So maybe Kyle Lowry is that missing piece for the Heat to go back to the finals. Now, for the next trade is a blockbuster. I have the Boston Celtics acquiring Bradley Beal for Jaylen Brown, Carson Edwards, Aaron A. Smith, and 2 first-round picks. Now, there have been rumors that players have been tampering in the Olympics NBA basketball team. And Tatum and Beal are both in that team, and they already have a good relationship. So say Beal requests a trade from Washington to Boston. I think the Wizards and Celtics could work out this deal between Jaylen Brown and Beal, because quite frankly, Jaylen Brown and Tatum, they play the same position and they're not as effective together as they should be. On the other hand, Beal could kind of take on that point guard shooting guard role while Tatum plays a forward, and I believe a guard forward duo is the best duo in the NBA to win a championship. So I think if the Boston Celtics are able to go out and acquire Bradley Beal, they'll be right in championship contention. Now for the next deal, it's another mini blockbuster where the Wizards get Kristaps Porzingis for Davis Bertans, Thomas Bryant, Roy Hachimura, and a first-round pick. And this is under the assumption that Beal does not ask out and is actually willing to commit to Washington. Now this way, you create a big three with Westbrook, Beal, and Porzingis. And let's be honest, this is probably a playoff team. Probably not championship contenders yet, but it's a solid foundation to build around. And if Washington could pull off a trade like this, they should go for it. Now for the next trade, I combine both teams together, the Pacers and Hornets, because I really love this trade for both teams. The Pacers get Gordon Hayward and the Hornets get TJ Warren and Miles Turner. So for the Pacers, this is the shakeup you need. You get an all-star level player, all-star level wing, which you desperately need. You could pair him up with Gordon Hayward and Malcolm Brogdon, and this is probably the move you need to go back into the playoffs. And for the Hornets side of things, you fill your depth. You fill your hole at that center position with Miles Turner. It's an immediate upgrade. And TJ Warren, yeah, he's been through many injuries, but I think he'll be a solid replacement for Gordon Hayward. So I like this trade for both sides. In terms of the Bulls, I have them also going after Kemba Walker for Lauri Markkanen, Alfred Aminu, and a 2027 first-round pick. So if you ask me, the Thunder should probably be looking at this deal more than the next deal, because they are getting a guy like Lauri Markkanen who still has tremendous upside, and they're getting a first-round pick. The Bulls, you get Kemba Walker, so you create a big three as well with Kemba Walker, Zach LaVine, and Vucevic, and hopefully you make the playoffs so that Zach LaVine also resigns. Now, for the Raptors, this is probably one of the most unexpected trades of the video. I have them getting Ben Simmons for a sign-and trade between Kyle Lowry, Chris Boucher, DeAndre Bembry, and a future first. Now, people might be coming at me saying this is not enough value for Ben Simmons. But take a look at this, guys. Chris Paul went to the Suns and brought them to the finals. Now, I'm not comparing Kyle Lowry to Chris Paul, but what I'm saying is that if you have a high IQ point guard with another all-star like Joel Embiid, you could go places. And not only are you getting Kyle Lowry, you're getting Chris Boucher, who's probably the ideal four to put beside Joel Embiid. You're getting Bembry, another bench piece. And that 2023 first-round pick could end up being a lottery pick, because the Raptors have been going downhill ever since that championship. So this is a trade that the Raptors and 76ers could mutually benefit from. And in the entire league, I believe the Raptors are best equipped to unlock Ben Simmons' potential, and that's why I like this trade for both teams. Now, we're coming closer to the end of the video. The Cleveland Cavaliers are also making a blockbuster move for Ben Simmons, but this time also Tyrese Maxey is included in the deal, and Cleveland sending out Kevin Love, Colin Sexton, and their third pick. So for Cleveland, you get your franchise player, Ben Simmons, and you also get Tyrese Maxey to kind of fill in for that Colin Sexton role. If you're Philly, you get Kevin Love, who you could play off the bench, who you could start beside Embiid, whatever the case may be. You get Colin Sexton, that shot creator, and you get the third pick where you could pick like Jalen Green or Jalen Suggs or someone like that. Now for the second last trade of the video, I have the Magic trading their 5th and 8th pick for the 3rd pick from Cleveland. If you're the Magic, you do this 10 out of 10 times, because with the 3rd pick, you could get a franchise-altering player, whether it be Jalen Green, whether it be Evan Mobley, whether it be Jalen Suggs. Now at 5, you could still get guys like Jonathan Kuminga and stuff like that, but the fall off is pretty clear. And if you're Cleveland, with the 5th and 8th pick, you could get more guys that will fit better with your team, and you could get guys like Jonathan Kuminga and maybe Jalen Johnson, so that way you don't need to trade Colin Sexton or Darius Garland. And now, for the final trade of the video, nothing too special. Pistons are just gonna continue to tank, get more picks, get more young talent, and this way, they're trading Mason Plumlee for Dwight Powell and Tyrell Terry. The main part of this is Tyrell Terry. The Pistons just have to take on Dwight Powell for contract reasons, but getting off of Mason Plumlee for a young asset, it's not a bad trade. And there you have it all. Hope you enjoy today's video, and like and subscribe for the Western Conference team trades.